Late summer, early fall is a really common time of the year to see different types of tree diseases, some different kinds of insect damage, and we've been getting a lot of calls and we have quite a few samples here of a couple different kinds of trees and some of the things that we've been seeing. Here we have two different oak samples.
Yeah, I mean, it's a white oak and a red oak, and the white oak just has, it's very typical for most trees. And I always challenge people to go into a forest or go into a fair and try to find a tree that does not have this kind of a problem. Right. This happens to be a leaf spot disease, whether it's fungal or bacterial at this point. I'm not quite sure on the white oak. And in the red oak, this looks like what we call anthracnose. And again, it's not a serious problem on the tree that this is on, but it does make it unsightly.
And when we have weather patterns like we've been having that are very hot and humid, that is the perfect breeding ground for diseases.
Yeah, a lot of this stuff gets inoculated early in the spring, and then if you have these warm, humid days, it just gets worse and worse and worse. Sure. And here we have a red maple, which again, that's a common plant in the woods and the forest areas, but it's also used in yards quite often. And you get spotting like this, especially if the tree's under any kind of a stress, it'll seem to manifest itself even worse.
But the important thing is that, none of these things are going to kill the tree. No. Yeah. And from one season to the next, some seasons may be worse, some may be, not as bad, but what happens if you get multiple seasons in a row where this shows up?
If you get multiple seasons and it's a really prime tree, one of the things we may want to try injecting it if the tree is big enough. We have a product that we use that actually, it's not a fungicide from the standpoint of killing a pathogen, but what it does is it boosts the tree's immunity to help fight it itself.
So it just makes it overall healthier.
And then, I mean, we have an apple. This was actually taken off of a wild apple tree from my house. And to be quite honest with you, if you have a wild apple tree and it has leaves that look this good, you're actually doing well. Sure. Because I've seen a lot of trees that 2/3 of the leaves are gone by now. Okay.
And that's just a result of the weather patterns we've been having?
Exactly, yeah. Now, one other fun thing here.
Yeah, this one's really interesting.
I mean, these are really quite interesting leaves, and this is actually not a disease. This is actually an insect issue, and it's called oak skeletonizer. And the challenge to me, I have these in a lot of different oaks that I have, is I've never found the insect. Sure. It's a little small caterpillar that eats away at the surface of the leaf.
And by the time you find the damage, sometimes they're gone.
I've yet to ever find it, but. Again, you look at the percentage of leaves that are damaged on the tree, and it's a low percent of 1% of the overall leaves on the tree. Sure. So it's nothing to really worry about. If it gets to the point where it's defoliating 80% of the tree, even then it might not be a problem if it's so late in the season. Sure. So it's something not to really worry about. Might actually make a nice craft project. So.
So if you have specific questions about any of the tree diseases and would like to schedule a consultation for one of us to come out and take a look and discuss with you, give us a call. Thank you for joining us. I'm Liz Snyder.
And I'm Jim Hotelling, the home gardeners from Hillside Garden Landscaping.